One of the 7 areas that we explore pretty deeply with REagile is rest and recovery. And so I'm not necessarily talking about the time you spend out of work in entertainment and that sort of thing. What we're talking about is during your workday, are you programming little events inside your workday where you're resting and recovering and gathering your thoughts and staying focused on what it is that you need to do? So if you've not been self-employed, if you've not worked as an individual contributor, if you've not been fully responsible for your own pipeline and your own revenue, and you're not doing that from home, it might seem pretty flexible and pretty glamorous from an outsider looking in who says, gosh, you must have a great deal of flexibility because, you work from home, so you can, walk the dog in the middle of the day or do a little laundry while you're getting stuff done. Well, all this is true, but instead, what really happens if we don't pre-program that rest and recovery events inside of our day is that doesn't happen. In fact, what happens instead is because we don't have a commute, we get in front of our computer much earlier than we would because we don't have to account for sitting in traffic for an hour, hour and a half. And so same thing at the end of the day, we have a tendency not to leave work earlier. Why would we? We're already at home. And then, of course, we also have a hard time establishing professional boundaries and professional limits. It might not be that unusual, particularly if you're functioning at an executive level, to check your phone periodically. But if you're officing from home and you're an individual contributor monitoring your own work behavior and you have a home office, so that checking the phone once or twice in the evening might very well evolve into, well, I might as well just, sit down and clear a couple of emails after dinner. And then before you know it, you blink your eyes and it's 10 o'clock at night. Very, very, very common. This is why when I ask a lot of my clients a simple question, when are your core working hours? I get this very kind of glazed over, confused look because they say, well, heck, I'm always working. Of course, they're not always working, but the perception is they're always available. Why is this such a huge problem? Because it creates a certain amount of mania inside of your thinking. And so you've got a pre-programmed rest and recovery event. So shift work or the 8-hour workday kind of sprung up out of the transformation of unions around the early 1900s. And it was really about protecting workers' rights and not overworking people into the ground. And so you had a first shift, a second shift, a third shift. Also, manufacturing dug it because they could have production cycle 24 hours a day, which, it worked kind of. But let me ask you this. The work that you're currently doing, is it mostly manufacturing? No, it's intellectual work. And so what this means is your mind is probably always working on some sort of a problem in your subconscious understanding. And an answer might spring forth at any time of the day or night. Having the discipline to capture that and write it down and then do nothing with it until your core working hours is a huge skill set that many of us have struggled literally decades to master. But the key is being aware. So when you have that inspirational thing that happens, what are you doing with it? Are you springing into action? Are you picking up the phone? Are you sending texts? Are you participating in manic behavior that's really not necessary, that's going to destroy or at least compromise the quality of your life? Here is how we might want to deal with that. Instead of saying, I'm going to work 8 hours, I'm going to work 4 hours, I work 12 hours a day, staring at your computer screen for 15 hours a day isn't necessarily a measure of commitment in terms of your raw determination to succeed. And, texting or calling a coworker or a vendor at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night doesn't mean that you're more efficient. Usually when I see that kind of behavior, I see a huge red flag. And that red flag is, I don't think you're managing your time allocation resources correctly if you feel like you have to reach out to someone at 10 o'clock at night. So how do you fix that behavior? You fix it by establishing some basic core hours. No matter what your core hours are for you personally or professionally, you've made a commitment. Hey, I work from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Now, if I work after 5 o'clock, I'm doing it for a very specific reason. But I'm making an agreement with myself in advance to do it. It doesn't happen by accident. The other thing that creates a great deal of efficiency for me professionally and a lot of other people that I coach is work in 30-minute increments, little 30-minute sprints where you're highly focused for 30 minutes to get something done. It's pretty likely that if you're sitting in front of a project and trying to work on it for more than an hour, your attention span and your efficiency is really, it's just gone off the charts. You're just not, you're not as focused as you should be. Practice the discipline focused of 30-minute sprints, and be very intentional with time blocking those in your calendar. It doesn't really matter to me if you're working 40 hours a week or 70 hours a week or 20 hours a week. What I care about is, are you generating the revenue that's required for you to run your life and your business correctly? What are the impediments that are holding you back? What are the things that you are avoiding? How are you wasting time? Are you pretending to work? None of this is punitive. I'm not coming at this from, like, I'm not your father. I'm not the principal. I'm not telling you that you're bad because you've got a lot of white space in your calendar. You're not. What I mostly care about is, are you efficiently executing the things that you need to get done when you need to get them done? And are you focusing in little 30-minute sprints, or are you dragging this task out way far along beyond what's required? Program rest into your daily program. I want you to take a 30-minute break, a 15-minute break, a 30-minute break, and then come back fresh, sit down, focus, knock something out, and then again, maybe get up, walk around, walk the dog, throw in a load of laundry. Take advantage of the flexibility that you have being self-employed or managing your own pipeline. Because if you don't do that, you're going to find you're going to get the worst of both worlds and not the best.
Please hit that subscribe button, and don't forget, visit our website and schedule your free 30-minute evaluation.